Rip Comic Overnight Redo, Part 5 Redo.
Leonard Part 6.
No, because we're going to do what we do
Electric.
and do that voodoo that you do.
Electric Boogaloo.
That's about as close I can get to Harvey Korman as possible. Where we ended up last leaving off, where we were gonna talk about hot picks of this past week, and we saw many releases, but specifically we were going to talk about X of Swords. Let me just ask, prior to this, how many Excalibur books have y'all ever read? I mean, I got a feeling Roland might have read a little bit more than I have. Yeah, I think I might have read one. Roll.
Yeah, in the 90s, I grabbed a couple. I'd read a couple just to see what's going on, because at that time, it was Nightcrawler.
That's right. I remember seeing him on a. Well, they've had many different team members.
Well, at that time, I know Nightcrawler kind of joined, and then you had Kitty with Lockheed, the Dragon. Captain Britain. It was decent. It was an X book, so in a way, I guess it was an X book, and so I had to take a look at it, since at that time,
right,
it was, hell, I even was reading Liefeld, for crying out
loud. And of course, I'll let Roland read the haiku of the X of Swords, as that's all that seems to be written about these books. It is Part 9.
X of Swords, Part 9. Opposition, Despair, The Dark Night of the Soul, rated T.
That does not give anything away of the book.
Well, I don't know how you can't tell that it has to do with Captain Avalon and Excalibur and the Amulet and the Sword of Might. I mean, that right there, you just must not read X-Men comics, because that's what that says right there.
You know what I didn't? You know what I'm realizing now? I feel like I need to go back and look at all these covers. Are you noticing something too, based on this cover?
That they're already, it's not connected.
Spoiler, it's already telling you what to expect in the circle. I didn't think about that. Wolverine in the other book, he's in the middle.
Well, and then you can follow that on whenever we go to X-Men.
Right, exactly. So, what I guess, Roland, you want to go ahead and give us a little, and then we'll chime in a little bit. We continue with X of Swords. The team, I guess everybody, they're trying to fill the circle. They're all looking for different swords to come to the forefront for the battle.
So it does seem, though, that the swords do have. I mean, they're chosen for the swords. I think the only thing that was not kind of following that was when they picked Cypher, but that was it ended up being a combination. Warlock ended up being his sword. But here we have Betsy Braddock actually has the mantle of Captain Britain. Again, ever since this started, I'm catching up on what is going on in the X-Men. There you see the old. He had chosen the Sword of Might, and Betsy had gotten the amulet, which made her Captain Britain. And I guess that's their brother, the King. And they all, kind of have powers, and they're meeting up with. I believe you pronounce her name Saturnine or something like that.
Yes.
And she is the I guess the daughter or a relative of Merlin and Roma, who used to choose the. She's kind of trying to do a power play. She wants what's his name, Brian? Yeah. She's trying to get him to be Captain Britain again. And there's something that I didn't know, a Captain Britain Corps. And I don't, again, it can't be a spoiler, because I mean, it looks like they've come around, but it was a surprise to me. Just like, I know, talking to you, Richard, were you surprised at who the Captain Britain Corps were?
You're referring to like the Rogue lookalike, the
no, they're not lookalike.
Yeah, it was them. Yeah, it was Rogue,
Jubilee, Rogue, Gambit.
Yeah.
Like
that was them.
Universes of them, or is it?
Well, okay. Well, see, now let me catch you up on Krakoa. with
they
Krakoa,
hatch eggs of them again after they've died.
So if they've died before, I mean, like when they hatch, they're not exactly the same. It seems. I think we saw in New Mutants, or I believe, no, it was, it was New Mutants, where when they hatched that guy, he didn't even want to be alive. But anyway, again, that's just catching you up. This book, it was actually pretty interesting. This was a book, especially jumping back into the X-Men and the X titles. It actually made me kind of want to find out a little bit about Excalibur. It was interesting. It's enjoyable. The action, it flowed pretty well, especially like I said, jumping in. Now I have to say, we talked about this before about the Xavier files, I guess. They did help with this. Finally, to me, they felt like it kind of explained stuff that I needed to be caught up on. But overall, it kept the Exoswords going. It showed families tighter than they had things planned. Their brother and sister and brother, I guess. But overall, I have to say this was a lot better than Hellions and New Mutants. This was a good chapter. It kept the Exoswords going along, and of course, it went on to X-Men. But we'll talk about Excalibur right now. What did you guys think?
Now that I know, this cover actually is a little bit more badass than I thought before. This is
because now we know who they are.
Yeah, the variant cover. So you got Gambit. Obviously, he's holding the cards. You got Rogue and Jubilee over there in the corner, and then
for a while.
Yeah, and then who's the dude behind Gambit?
Grifter.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. And then we have
They might have said his name in there. I need to.
It might have been just kind of put in there. You know what? At times this book was a little steamy. I actually liked the way it was written. It was written actually quite well. You kind of quickly got into you can tell when it's almost like awkward reading, but this one actually flowed really well. It was written in that style of, like they were in England. You know what I mean? You got the vibe that it was there, and they quickly set that up.
I like the book. I noticed something about the artwork. It took me back to probably some of the earlier books when they were being first computer animated, per se, when they were being drawn on. You can see a different. I don't know what the term would be, but it's a different style. It looks retro almost.
I liked it.
It brings you back to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like I said, I like the styling and stuff like that. Will, this was the variant cover.
And let me chime in on that. I know we always go back to this, but it reminded me of it reminded me like an X-Men War. It reminded me of the Valiant romantic style of writing.
Oh yeah, no, I agree.
And the look of it, it felt like, the Spider Queen was going after Auric,
I bet you that's what's going to make it sought after, the fact that it has this team on there, and that, because like I said, I don't know when this team was established, because they hinted to the team, and all of a sudden, bam, you get the team, and you're like, wait a minute.
And then you get that surprise.
Is that the first? Is that Jubilee? When was the last time she appeared in a book?
This
one.
So, which was the last time she can appear in another book?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, she actually.
I guess that's a spoiler alert.
Yes.
I mean, it's not really a spoiler alert because they have Krakoa. They're like, okay, we'll just cook up another one. I mean, that's. So yeah,
I've always liked her character, Jubilee's character. I think it was the camaraderie between her and Wolverine when I was watching the cartoons that really made me enjoy her persona so much. And I would look forward to her when I would read the X-Men back in the 90s. So it's kind of good to see her back in the book.
Yeah,
so
it was funny because, I mean, with Wolverine, she took the place of
Rogue.
Kitty.
Kitty.
Rogue was in the movies. For Wolverine, it's always been Kitty, Betsy, and Jubilee.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. There we go. This was a surprise for me. I didn't. Again, going back into finding out what's going on in X-Men, and I'm trying to understand this whole Krakoa thing. This was a big surprise for me.
Right. I'm going to go ahead and let's. This is part 10. Jonathan Hickman is the writing on this one. Go ahead, roll if you want to go ahead and read the haiku.
X of Swords Part 10. Lessons. Longing. What has begun cannot be undone. Rated T. Well, again, like Apocalypse is pretty much jacked up from the initial attack and stuff like that. Like, they need the healer, they need they need all these people just to hold them down. But it's funny, again, here we go. They're like, I think he just needs to give up and let himself die because we're cooking another one. And they're like, yeah, but it'll take a day or two. I mean, it's like,
yeah,
it's almost like the Prestige with Hugh Jackman and Christian Bale. You remember that movie?
Yeah.
With the
I
yeah.
love that movie. That was great.
He's making it's just the clones keep.
Right. Yeah, and the thing
again,
is, you get to learn a little bit more about the island, the Krakoa, and one of the processes, Karakoa, whatever, and
no, but the other island is
the A,
Arakoa or something like that.
Yeah, Krakoa
and
Karakoa. Yeah.
And the Latin one, a little further down the way, is barbacoa.
Yeah,
that one's my favorite.
Yes, with Big Red.
Yep.
Omega Red. Oh, barbacoa with Omega Red.
Yeah. On this one, when they showed the early, because they went back in the past again, and you got to see, and was that an earlier Sumner or a different dude totally in the Sumner position, because his symbol was different. Remember, we established that if he had one stripe, two stripes, or three stripes, that was one stripe.
Well,
dude.
Something that was surprising is it's always been presented as Apocalypse was the first mutant and he is probably the most powerful. Well, in the flashback, his wife or whatever says, you can't come with me because you're not strong enough. Like, just straight up, this woman is supposed to be more badass than Apocalypse.
Now, I got a question about Genesis.
Yeah.
And you may be the one that might know the answer to it. If not, maybe something to look into. Is she somehow related to Storm? Great grandmother, mother, something down the line?
That's I mean, this is supposed to be way thousands of years ago. So
okay, great grandmother, someone down the line, because her eyes, the way she was doing her stuff, came off a lot like
and
Storm.
Also because in Marvel there's only like about 10 black people, so I'm guessing there's a possibility that that's true.
Oh my goodness. Yes, baby.
Well, and again, it goes back to when we talked about Bishop, how somehow, hey, let's introduce Bishop. By the way, it's probably Storm's grandson because there can't be other people in the Marvel universe.
They naturally try to
Hello,
Storm.
That was a censorship.
That was we're getting. I'm gonna get canceled. I'm gonna get canceled.
It was very interesting to get this perspective of that. Do you okay? I know we've talked about retcons. I know we've talked about that. Do you just feel this just an additional layer that maybe was always left open, or do you feel they're actually erasing some of the past of Apocalypse? Because I know you have that Apocalypse book.
The Rise of Apocalypse.
Right. Does this because like you said, it was always stated that he was the top dog and this, that, and the other, and they're giving another, or are they working within the line, so to speak?
Well, think about it. Salam Selective is the grandson, so somewhere.
Wait, no. You're talking about Sumner. You're the other guy.
Oh, Summoner. Is that? I don't know. One of them.
Yeah, the white dude or whatever he is. I don't know if it's supposed to be a guy or girl, but anyway.
Zero.
I don't know. Yeah, Zero.
Okay, we're talking about Zero. And again, we're speaking in code because I think the guy looks like Zero back in the Mutant Liberation Front, the
right.
MLF,
This is This is currently a hot rising character. First appeared in this current run of the X-Men. I want to say issue number 4. I believe it's number 2 or number 4. That book is actually booking pretty hard right now, price-wise. And then his first cover appearance, which was X-Men 11, flew off the shelf. And the second printing should be coming out this coming up week. And wait a minute, was it this week or last? Well, you know what? I think I'm wrong. Let me see.
What? Write it down.
Yeah, write it.
Will, write it down.
Let me get my pen.
Nope. Okay, there it is. Sorry. It did come out this week. So, by the way, if you guys didn't pick it up, you missed it again. It's X-Men 12. That was his. Okay, so it was still there.
I didn't pick it up, but I saw it on the shelf.
Yeah, I got a feeling if this is going to be one of those ones. The first issue was low print run. This one, they were trying to replace for people that didn't get it. But the fact that they made him all red, which I think is interesting because his character is like ghost white. And then this one, they make him totally red. But I love the way the creatures are in black and white. This is going to be a cool cover either way. I got a feeling you're going to see a sneakeroo of a third one probably pop up, but definitely, this one.
I like how all the monsters are looking at the camera like the two wolves from Kiss Me, It's a Fan of the Park. It's like they were just looking at him, and then they turned around at the camera and were like, "Yeah,
let's look at the thing." Yeah. So so that one, that's the hot issue. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the.
So catch me up. Okay, so that's the Summoner.
That's Summoner. That's the one that's supposed to be the grandson. Great. Yeah. Whatever. Yeah.
Okay. So
what?
Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Apocalypse. Okay.
Yeah. And then you saw X-Men Creation, or do I need to get you a link to that? That was the part one.
That was I didn't get to see that.
Okay.
Don't forget the guide.
Yeah, you need that one because that's where all the chingazos happen everywhere, and that's why you saw Apocalypse in the state that he was in. Sumner betrays Apocalypse and basically puts him in the death position that he's in right now. So he basically did the switcheroo on him in that creation, which basically sent all the dominoes going. So I'll get you a link to that. Everybody will get a link, and that way, because right now we're next week you only get one part, and then we're at the halfway stasis.
So how many issues are you in right now?
We're at part 10, 11. 11 will be coming up. We're at part 10 already.
So you're in how many issues? 11 issues? 10 issues?
10 issues in. Next week will be 11. And
the halfway point.
Now, of course, this book, they show a lighter side of Apocalypse. They show his relationship with Genesis. They show all this mushy stuff and stuff like that in there. But are they on version 8 of Apocalypse? Has he died 7 times, or is he the 8th generation, or which Apocalypse?
Right. Because and see, that's what, you know what? If you go back, I mean, just like in Hellions, or however you say it, Sinister is not the Sinister it's not my Sinister. It's totally different. And again, these are like all united, peaceful mutants. And to see Charles talking to freaking Apocalypse like, "Hey, Pocky, what's up? Are you sure you want to go?" "Yeah, don't worry, Charles. I'm okay." And it's like,
it's kind of, I'm in that thing when we first started talking about it. How is this going to settle up? How does it going to play out?
Well, they're painting him as a good guy. They're painting him as a good guy, and that's what he's become now. All of a sudden, he's no longer the bad guy. He got beat up by who's going to be the new head bad guy.
Well,
and now he's become a good guy.
But see, that's the thing. So we're just basically we found a way to get ourselves new arch nemesis and.
No.
Are you giving out a spoiler?
No, we're making a joke because whenever they introduce Salon Selective, they're like, "Meet Wolverine's new arch enemy." It's like he's bigger than Sabretooth.
Yeah, it's like Spider-Man has Green Goblin, and so-and-so has this, and Batman has Joker, and blah, 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 blah. And so now we have this guy, and we had the problem where, like, wait a minute, how do you all of a sudden just say that this guy is taking the place of Sabretooth and all that kind of stuff?
When it goes to Venom, is Null Venom's arch enemy now? Is that what it is?
Well, the way they make it, he's the arch The arch
Of
fud.
everyone.
I mean, the arch enemy of everyone.
Right. Ooh.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the way they're going to set it up, it's like, yeah, there's no, he's going to be against the whole Marvel universe. It's like Deadpool versus the Marvel universe.
Well,
No.
it's just like, and with what Will's revelation about what null means, you notice how like they're all attacking him with tentacles in the upcoming.
Interesting.
They're gonna have Plum Kokomo
Tentacles.
drawing some tentacles.
Tentacle. There's a big difference. Tentacles.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, you meant.
oh,
Oh, okay. No, that big difference there. I remember.
but with Plum Kokomo, she might draw some
It's the
hentai type stuff.
the language, the
Language
the,
of
the
love.
international language. All right, now we talk about this.
So let me put this in perspective for you. This is this generation's Franklin Richards.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah.
Because back then, Franklin Richards was always, he's real powerful, and everybody was worried that at any moment, like, he could change and become bad, and that was always the worry, that he was going to get messed with. And we've seen alternate realities where Franklin Richards is like the most dangerous, person around, and that's what Dylan is now. He's Spider-Man, and it's funny because in Marvel Zombies Resurrection, you have Spider-Man protecting a perpetually young Franklin Richards.
Yeah, here we are. We got
Jane Lynch and Peter Parker.
yeah, and with the revelation, I'm pregnant, Pete, and Peter Parker's just munching away. See, that's how he got fat in that Spider-Verse movie. He's all, oh, you're kidding me. And then,
So wait a second. So who's the father? The symbiote?
Oh, it's kind of like the Metachlorians.
Well, you heard what she said. We're never alone. And he's like, that stuff's creepy.
Yeah. No, I think I think it's supposed to be Eddie, but alternate Eddie. Yeah.
See, that's Anne Wayne. That's Eddie's ex-wife who becomes She-Venom, right?
Well, the problem with this one is it's an alternate universe, so technically these two were never together. But
so she's Venom,
right.
though.
She took over because Flash is dead and everybody's dying pretty much in this future universe. But I guess Eddie still sees her as his version of that girl, yeah. Right? But in this alternate world,
no
Eddie, no, and she's like freaked out, like, "Hey, back up, whatever," right. and
kind of like Gamora and Star-Lord in the last Endgame.
Right. And she's got this weird thing about the kid too. I mean, the little kid.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's very strange. He's right. There. I can hear you, and she's just. But I guess it's because the revelation of what happened to her kid, and how powerful it became, and she's like really desperate to find out if Eddie has seen anything in Dylan. But see, the thing is, Eddie doesn't know anything that's been happening with Dylan. He's been kind of keeping it on the low. If you've been reading any or looking at the other issues, he's been developing his powers through through the issues and stuff like that. He's been keeping it on the low. There are certain abilities that he has that, but I think Eddie does not know the full extent to those powers. So
the dark side.
Oh. Right. So basically, is this a preview? I think Eddie's trying to defend his kid by saying, you know what, we don't know exactly to the full extent of what Dylan can do. And he, as far as I know, he does not have any of those kind of powers.
And now I understand all of the Funko Pops of all the Venomized characters, because they show like that whole world where like Wolverine is a symbiote and all these other. Right.
Yeah.
I thought that was a pretty cool little splash page.
So the jury's out. I think Dylan books are definitely going to go up. Are they going to go up like
gangbusters?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, but let's go for the speculation side. His book is still trending pretty hot, right? Will, because you have the second printings of it's trending pretty hard.
Yeah, close to $100 or more, depending.
Right.
Who's willing to pay for it?
Right. And the thing is, the jury's still out to his full potential of what he will become. Because if he ends up becoming the savior, the god of light, so to speak, the opposite of this guy, I mean, I don't know. I mean, we're talking about he does have all kind of unlimited powers. That you go all the way back to that number 9 Venom. I think it's Venom 9, is it? I don't know, something like that. Yeah, I mean, who knows what's going to happen with that? Because, like I said, that's him, not even in any kind of form. That's just him as a regular person.
Not even in final form.
Right. The minute he becomes, well, at least this version becomes whatever he's going to become. You're talking about that book might just fly through the roof like Amazing Spider-Man 300. I don't know.
And now I see 2 Hulks.
They're multiplying.
I spilled water on this one, and he regenerated.
He multiplied. It's getting close for you. It's getting close. Don't feed him.
I'm gonna.
It's Krakoa and his thing. So anyway, Roll. I know you're not too much into the Venom thing. Luke Ross is actually the inside artist of this particular production. And then
he seems like a transplant from the 90s. It looks like a throwaway 90s artist. And I think that's what kind of threw me off.
I think, you know what? I think they plan when Stegman's available and when he's not available. And they kind of knew that this dude was going to not be available. So there you go. That's Venom. I think, if you've been reading the story, it gives you the story of, the origin of Codex. That's actually, something of, collectible if you're looking for origin stories and stuff like that. But as far as anything like any major shifts or anything like that, it's really true. Like, hey, we're just going to give you a little background on the character before we get into the heavy duty stuff coming in November, which is the, King in Black and all that stuff that's about to explode all over the place. Because I think that's going to make everything shift. And who knows what's going to end up happening.
Which one?
There we go. That's a classic right there, baby.
Yeah, with the tie, he has a rope and everything still in the belt or the pants.
Yeah,
there it is.
Yep. Does he still have no genitals? Or did you draw them on?
Yeah, remember that? I'll never forget that day. You want a doll? That's what Dad said. You remember that, Rich? I don't know if you remember that. It was like
which one? Because I got 3.
I know, but when I was holding the Spider-Man, I think it was okay for you, but he just was like, "You want a big doll? That's what you want?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's Spider-Man, Dad." Or was that the Captain America? I can't remember, dude.
Captain America. Yeah. You had the Captain America. I had Spider-Man and the Hulk.
Right. So it was Captain America.
Got the Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But no, check this out. We missed out. We tried to get Lou Ferrigno's signature on that Hulk because in Portland he came at the it was right by where Gaddy's was. There was a gym that was opening up, some little gym, and they had Lou Ferrigno. And they took us, but we had missed them by like
less than 30 minutes.
Yeah. But Richard, they brought that because we thought we'd get Lou Ferrigno's autograph on that thing, but we kept calling to him. He was walking away. He couldn't hear us.
Yeah. Anyway, you got to meet Bruce Dickinson.
Yes, I did. I had a picture with him.
They're playing.
Yeah, the day after I saw him in Austin.
Yeah, the jet stopped at the base. Yeah.
His one of the pilots was a buddy of his, and he said, "Hey, come on down to Corpus and check out the planes." And I was in maintenance control. I was running maintenance control at the time, and I get a phone call from one of the pilots. He goes, "Hey, do you have a plane that the lead singer of?" Or he goes, "I got the lead singer here from Iron Maiden. Is there a bird that we can see?" And I'm like, "You have Bruce Dickinson right there." He's like, "Yeah, he's standing right here. I'll find a plane. You come on down." And took a picture. And after I took the picture, I texted it to Richard and his son, Nick. And I was like, "Hey, who's this guy?" Because I was asking, they were like, "Oh, we had pretty good seats. We could kind of see him." Or, they were pretty close. And I was like, "Hey, who's this guy?" And it was Bruce Dickinson. And luckily, Of course, we didn't know he was coming, but one of the mechanics underneath his employee shirt had his trooper shirt, and so he got that sign. He's like, "Well, I'm never wearing this again."
Very cool.
He's short. He is very short.
Well, that's why he jumps around and flies around all over the stage.
I was like, "Are you wearing the big socks? Can I see them?"
with the Eddie belt buckle. What we're going to do now is we're going to dive into the treasure chest. And what we actually what I sprung on my brother is because I had never seen them before. I decided they were all available, and I happened to force my wife to watch these with me
on Hulu.
They're
available right now on Hulu. That
Blade 2 and Blade 3, the trilogy, or Blade Trilogy. I'm sorry, Blade
Trinity.
Blah 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 blah. It felt like
or Blade and Deadpool.
Will, have you seen this trilogy?
I've seen only the first one.
Okay, you're like my brother, Rico.
Yeah.
Rico, you saw the first one, right? Okay.
I've seen the first one.
All right.
Dude, it's been a long time.
We're not going to go through all the, hey, it starts here, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Where do you want to, where should we start on this, Roll? Because you've seen like that. Where do you think we want to start with this?
Well, start off who Blade is. I mean, he's always been a kind of a side character. To me, I mean, this helped pave the way. The movie series paved the way for them to feel comfortable making X-Men and Spider-Man. I think what the Marvel movie before this was Howard the Duck.
Yep.
And so if you can switch back to to see us, you can see the picture behind me. That's how Blade looked in the 70s when he was in the Tomb of Dracula.
I ain't got no weapon.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that was in the 60s.
And so as you can see, he had those were wooden. So as a blade, his blades, they were like stakes though, but they were wooden on him, on his belt, on his across his chest, and what he was holding, they were wooden knives. And so, a lot of people don't, some people even overlook the fact that he is a Marvel character, because again, he was always kind of a side, he had his own title, but it really didn't go off because, again, honestly, it's a minority book, minority hero. Yeah, look at that. That's screaming 70s right there. But again, it reminds me of if you recall in Star Wars, George Lucas made Star Wars because he couldn't make Flash Gordon. So Wesley Snipes made Blade because he couldn't make Black Panther. Ever since Wesley Snipes made a name for himself, it has always been said that he has always wanted to do Black Panther. He wanted to make it. I mean, even in some of those comic scenes that we've looked back in the past, it always said in talks Black Panther, Wesley Snipes. And for some reason they didn't do it. So the next best thing was he made Blade. And if we were talking about this, they pretty much updated his look for the 90s. They made him, you want to bring the picture back up. They made him like this. And if you remember the movies around the late 90s, or, this was that feel of with the techno music, the Matrix, this was before the Matrix, but it had that feel. It was, Wesley Snipes' way of being able to showcase his martial arts. He's always been proud of that. And
by the way, hold on. This was before the Matrix, right?
Yeah.
Okay. This is a bridge movie when it comes to cartoon, comic books come to life, because I honestly think, Howard the Duck failed, but then you had the success of The Crow. And I think that's what kind of open the door so much where, well, if you keep it in this vein right here, then you can spring something like this. And I think that's, carried over.
Now look at this poster, and nowhere do you see a big, not even a medium size font of Marvel. And so a lot of people, again, did not realize that Blade is a comic book. They thought it was just some superhero movie. Even if they flashed the word Marvel on it, it wasn't that, big.
Yeah,
but
I'm noticing that. Yeah.
This one was well received. And to me, this is what caused them to go, hey, people are looks like they will accept a comic, like a superhero type movie. So let's do X-Men, let's do Spider-Man, because those are the next two big things, if I recall, that came out after Blade, after the success of Blade. And plus, this is a rated R movie, right?
Yep, rated R.
So there we go.
Before
Every
Deadpool.
time,
Before
exactly.
Deadpool.
Everybody kept trying to say, "Ooh, there's a Marvel movie that's rated R," and it's like, well, you've never heard of Blade. I mean, this.
Yeah, this movie has been the footnote of a lot of declarations from people recently. The first African American superhero, they were saying that was a Black Panther, and then they said
Meteor Man was.
Yeah, well, but for R-rated movies, and then we're like, wait a minute, you guys forgot about The Crow, you guys forgot about this and that and the other, and it's just
they were talking about Marvel, but
right.
Even then, the Marvel movie, you have Blade. This is the rated R Blade. They have, just like Deadpool, they go into a bar and the first thing is the guy from Grounded for Life getting pleasured by a woman,
Right. That's right.
I forgot his name, but so again, they're here they are. They introduce Blade, and all of a sudden he has a sword. So it's a big difference from. I mean, he has the sunglasses, I guess.
He's been censored. Yeah, he's got the sunglasses that are unbreakable. I'll continue with Roland until he gets reestablished there. Or did everybody freeze? Will, are you there? Roll, Rich. Is it still going?